I just got goosebumps. That transition was so perfect. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Molly, and in this video I am going to be reacting to the album Hypnotize from the band System of a Down. Now System of a Down is a band I've been doing a little reaction series to here on my channel, and I have absolutely loved all of their other previous albums that I've heard, and the last one I have yet to hear is Hypnotize, which is to date their most recent album. This one was released in 2005, about 6 months after they released Mesmerize, their fourth studio album, which I recently did a reaction to, and I absolutely loved the tone of that one. And a lot of you have been saying that Hypnotize is kind of like a second part to Mesmerize in a way. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to hear it and just see what I'm going to think of Hypnotize by System of a Down. Alright, so starting off with track 1 on Hypnotize, we have Attack. Right off the bat, we have some great blast beats going on with the drums. Breathing each other's lives. The cold insincerity, dreaming of the day that we attack. It's almost like the song is attacking you sonically. It's got a great, like, aggressive tone to it. System of a Down never gets old. Holding this in mind. Well, that was my introduction to Hypnotize. That was track 1, Attack. I loved that song. Everything that System of a Down does so well with their music they were doing on that one. They had those amazing blast beats and all of the aggression coming at you at times, especially on the choruses there. But then the melodic parts were so smooth and beautiful and relaxing. Typical System of a Down, they just went back and forth between those two sounds so effectively. It really makes their music just really stand out. I love it. So I'm going to move on now to track 2 called Dreaming. There's a second set of vocals, but they're like really kind of muffled sounding in the background. I would say so far Hypnotize seems a little bit more up-tempo or quicker than Mesmerize. There's just slightly more aggression to the tone of this album, at least so far anyway. Yeah, there's just such a melodic aggression to the sound of these first 2 tracks. There's such punchiness to these songs, but they're so ethereal at the same time. I love that guitar. Track 2, Dreaming. Every time I listen to a System of a Down album, I always think to myself, I bet I'm not gonna like this as much as the last one I listened to, and they just never disappoint. I feel like their music is always just so well developed and well thought out, and this album so far is not disappointing. I'm loving these first 2 tracks from Hypnotize. I'm also noticing a little bit less of Darren's vocals on this one so far. I'm curious to see if maybe later on further tracks he'll kind of come in more and lend more of his vocals to this album. But yeah, I'm just going to move on now to track 3 called Kill Rock and Roll. I just made that point about Darren, and now we're hearing more from him. That's funny. This song is really funky.
Accidents happen.
Every time I look in your eyes,
Man, there's such a heaviness to the instrumentals. Track 3, Kill Rock and Roll. We had a little bit more of Darren's vocals coming through there and more of like a back and forthness between him and Serge. It just kind of had a slightly more almost like upbeat kind of quirky quality to it, which was just fun to listen to. All right, moving on to track 4, we have the title track, Hypnotize. Television made you buy it, and it's talking about kind of how like the media hypnotizes you in a way and brainwashes you. That was definitely a similar theme that they had on Mesmerize.
I'm just sitting, waiting for my girl.
I love how minimalistic this song was, and then they just have slowly built it up, and now there's just more of a heaviness to the sound of this one too. Again, I love the really unique instrumentals here. Track 4, Hypnotize. That was a really gorgeous song. I loved how smooth the whole thing was. Definitely more restrained with its sound than the first 3 tracks on this album have been, and appropriately something very hypnotic about the sound of that one too. There's still a certain level of aggressiveness though. Like there's a really strong, impactful delivery to certain parts on this album, but they're also keeping it so smooth and melodic at the same time. I love how they're doing that. But yeah, I'm going to move on to track 5 now, called Stealing Society. Again, with just a punchiness to this album. I love it. These vocals. I love how quick this one is. Like there's such a sharp back and forthness to its sound. That was track 5, Stealing Society. Kind of reminded me a little bit of track 3, Kill Rock and Roll, in how it was a little bit different sounding than the rest of the tracks have been on this album. I feel like there's kind of 2 types of tracks. They're doing some that are a little bit more melodic in a way, and then they throw in these like kind of quirky, more upbeat, comical sounding tracks from time to time too, and Kill Rock and Roll and that one, Stealing Society, kind of had that sound to them. And up next we have track 6 called Tentative. I don't think I will ever get tired of Serge's vocals. His voice is just incredible.
No one's gonna save us.
I just got goosebumps. That transition was so perfect.
Where do you expect us to go where the bombs fall?
This part is beautiful. I just love how this track completely transformed its sound.
Go when the bombs fall.
And then when he says we're going down, there's just that heavy weightiness to the sound of the track.
No one's gonna save us now. Where do you expect us to go when the bombs fall?
Track 6, Tentative. I absolutely loved that really restrained melodic bridge toward the end there. I just got full-on chills listening to it. Just very smooth and melodic, but then again, they would bring that amazing punchiness during the chorus, and there was just such a heavy, weighty, like solid sound to the instrumentals on that one. All right, moving on to track 7 now, we have You Fig.
All pathetic, high in the sky.
As crazy as System of a Down always is with their music, they always throw on something new on each of their albums that just really takes me aback. It always surprises me. Alright, here they go again with their more I was just gonna say, here they go again with their more subdued bridge. I guess I was incorrect. It's like a machine gun just firing off so quick. Well, that was quite the experience to listen to. That was track 7, You Fig. I think so far the craziest song on this album so far, from like just a sonical and instrumental standpoint. How they were doing like that rapid fire vocalization at chunks throughout that song, and then how they made it so restrained, and then they would just fire the aggression in your face and then they would make it restrained again. They did that back and forth so extremely on that song. But moving on now to track 8, we have Holy Mountains. Right off the bat, this one reminds me of Aerials. Wow, the vocals are really different on this one. There's like this really kind of watery, distorted sound to them. Man, again, with just that really heavy tone to the guitar especially, there's a fantastic sound to it across this whole album. Man, they like their blast beats on this album, that's for sure. I'm not complaining though at all. I love them. They're bringing such aggressiveness to the sound of Hypnotize. Track 8, Holy Mountains. I really liked how they were throwing on those really watery, distorted sounding vocals, and then the chorus would come in and it had such a clear, soaring tone to it. It was almost like the vocals broke out of that watery state, and there was just such a grandiose sound to that one on the chorus. Okay, moving on to track 9 now, we have Vicinity of Obscenity. I really like the start of this one. This is really different. This has like a jazzy quality to it. This part of the song does remind me a lot of something maybe that you'd hear from Steal This album. It's got kind of this punchy, quirky delivery to it. But then that more slowed down jazzy part. This part right here is so different. I don't think I've ever heard this style from System of a Down before. Track 9, Vicinity of Obscenity. That was just absolute insanity. I loved it though. Typical System of a Down for you, just kind of throwing everything at that song. And that is kind of an example of what I've been hearing from Hypnotize so far. Like the previous track just had this more serious nature to it. It just had that really great heaviness from the instrumentals, and then his vocals would just have this really great melodic soaring quality to them. And then we go from that song to Vicinity of Obscenity, which was just quirky craziness and kind of a jazziness to it, kind of a playfulness to that one as well. And even with the lyrics, they were very comical. But moving on to track 10, we have She's Like Heroin.
She's like heroin. She's
Darren's vocals are so distinct. There's like this certain tone to them that makes them really stand out.
He's like heroin, sipping through a little glass, make some cash. He's like heroin, I need someone to save my ass.
Track 10, She's Like Heroin. I think that's the first song on this album that has more heavily featured Darren, and Serge kind of just did backup vocals on that one. I just really like the tone of his voice at certain parts. It just lends, I don't know, a different tone to the album, and I kind of like their two voices together. It's just a great dynamic that works really well. It kind of has like this playful quality to it. It's like they're kind of poking fun at each other. They're going back and forth. All right, moving on to track 11, we have Lonely Day.
Such a lonely day, the most loneliest day of my life. Such a lonely day.
It's really interesting hearing this side to Darren's voice. I don't know if I've ever heard him sounding this melodic before on a System of a Down track.
I wanna die with you.
These instrumentals are so cool to listen to.
The most loneliest day of my life. Such a lonely day.
Track 11, Lonely Day. I like how that one ended. It almost sounded like something falling down or falling out of the sky. But yeah, Darren's vocals on that one were very different from him. I really liked his tone of voice, just kind of a more somber, melodic, melancholy sound to that one compared to the last track, She's Like Heroin. That was just a little bit more crazy and quirky with its sound. But I'm going to move on now to track 12, Soldier Side, which is the last track on Hypnotize. So I'm curious to see how this album is going to end. I do really love that instrumental in the background. It's just a really unique instrument. I love the tone to it.
When Jesus comes, are they gonna be saved? Welcome to the soldier side.
Man, I just love how expansive the sound of this one is. It's like the song keeps growing bigger and bigger with its sound. That was track 12, Soldier Side, the last song on the album Hypnotize. Really a great melodic, kind of ethereal sounding song to end this album on. Their vocals together especially just have this really immense, beautiful sound to them. I really enjoy it. Definitely a good one to end my journey through System of a Down's music on though. I just really, really liked the tone of that song. Well, that is officially going to wrap up my reaction to Hypnotize, the 5th studio album from the band System of a Down. I have absolutely loved getting into this band's music. They just fuse so much on their songs. They somehow make them really serious and lyrically very impactful, but they also throw so much silliness and quirkiness and kind of a lighthearted nature on their songs as well. Hypnotize was great. This whole album from beginning to end, I absolutely loved. I think as of right now, the ones that I would say stand out to me the most are maybe the first one, Attack. I just loved how that song started the whole album off. I also really liked track 9, Vicinity of Obscenity. That one was insane, but I loved the jazziness that that one had at points too, just really unique. And I actually think my favorite song on Hypnotize was track 6, Tentative. That really quiet melodic bridge toward the end was just absolutely captivating to listen to, just such a beautiful track. But yeah, I have loved my journey into System of a Down's music, and I'm so glad you all have been enjoying these videos. As usual, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video.